Welcome back to Funny Vampires.
Welcome back to Funny Vampires, indeed. I'm ready.
Alright, let's go. By the time I'm finally released from Arcoide's one-sided handshake, it's almost 9 o'clock. Just thinking about everything that's happened since I got back is enough to make my head hurt. But now that I've decided to help out, the night is still far from over. From here on, the vampire extermination begins in earnest. So, what do we do now? I assume we just keep walking around the city searching for more dead?
Yeah, if we wipe out all the dead in this city, then their vampire side will have no choice but to come out of hiding. That's all we can do right now. But
Arcoide gives me a look, as if asking whether I'm really okay with it. You don't have to ask me. Wherever you go, I'll follow. You're the expert after all, so just tell me what to do. Um... This girl's just standing here, watching me, an outsized grin on her face. What? Did I say something strange?
nope. I was just marveling at how honest you are.
Maybe I should be a little more brusque with her from now on. I get the feeling that if I keep buttering her up like this, she'll ask me to do something outrageous again. Let's go. We just need to wander around the city, right? Should we go back and take another look at that underpass from earlier?
No, there's no need to revisit that area. The dead are each assigned to their own non-overlapping routes, both to prevent them from trying to feed on each other and to ensure that the victims aren't all clustered around the same location. The number of dead that will go out to feed on a given night is planned in advance. I'm pretty sure the one from earlier was the last of them. But, since you're already here, we might as well search for a little longer.
Everything is planned out so that they don't consume each other. I'm surprised at how well orchestrated this all is. I've been under the impression they were just acting at random. Huh. Man, that guy really is a manager.
Well, think about it from the vampire side's perspective. They aren't just collecting blood for fun. It's a vital requirement for them to continue existing. It's work. So of course they value consistency and reliability. You
Oh my
don't
god,
make it all the way to CEO, like, without, planning shit.
Oh god. Vampires have degrees in business.
Well, yeah. I'm a princess after all, which basically makes me second in line to a company.
I hate capitalism. So the dead are pretty crucial labor force. Though, if that's the case, won't the enemy start to take countermeasures soon? Since you've been out here thinning the herd, maybe he'll start to deploy them in even greater numbers. Or maybe he'll have all the dead withdraw and go into hiding.
This guy is stingy by nature, right? However, as a vampire, he has no choice but to milk other people for their blood and energy if he wants to survive. That's why even if the sire knows that I'm after him, he still has to send in his dead out to gather the bare minimum for sustenance.
I see. Arcoide's modus operandi is to attack the enemy's supply lines. Working out where in the city the sire's sleeping would be far too difficult. So instead of searching for him, she plans to smoke him out. Cut off their workers, and by extension, the nourishment they need to keep on living, the sire will eventually have no choice but to take action themselves. As soon as the enemy goes on the move, Arkwide will be able to sense their presence. And that's where the vampire slaying comes in. Just like when we put our lives on the line to kill Vlav, we'll face the one responsible for these incidents head on and exterminate him. Okay, I'm up to speed. Each night, we just need to patrol the city and keep an eye out for any dead that are still out and about, right?
Yeah. On that note, Shiki, would you be willing to take off your glasses while you're accompanying me?
Take off my glasses? Why?
Because it's more reliable that way. I can sense the presence of human and non-human beings. You can visually perceive the difference between the living and the dead. It's not like we have many other ways of finding them, right?
I understand what Arcoid is getting at. I was the one who's saying that we should cooperate, so it's not like I can refuse. But moving around with my glasses on is...
I'm sure it will place a significant strain on your body. However, since we have the opportunity, there's something I want to confirm one more time. If you think you can handle it, then take off your glasses and follow me.
Walking around the city without my glasses on, huh? In the 7 years since I've received these glasses, I've never once tried something like that. I mean, just seeing things with my glasses off is enough to give me a headache. It's easy to imagine what would happen if I were to then go wandering around the city without them. Even so... I'll be fine. It's just a headache after all. It's nothing compared to the pain that Arcoide is dealing with right now. Alright, I'll take them off. If doing so makes things easier, then it's a no-brainer.
I see. Then let's get moving.
I take a single deep breath, remove my glasses, and walk toward the city.
I don't know why, but that line just reminds me of the what's the Shrek song? The big one where he's talking about what he would be.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just
For
when I
sure.
remove my helmet. You know that part.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh man, okay, yeah, this kinda does give me a headache.
It's a lot of red.
It is a lot of red. I think
And
that's the point though, so...
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lot of red, but in red is such like this is such like a vibrant red that I feel like it's like ow to the brain.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is, the point, but...
Yeah.
Walking side by side, Arcoide and I move through the crowds. The last time I walked amidst a landscape this riddled with scribbles was back when I was first hospitalized. I don't feel any dizziness so far. I guess simply looking around isn't enough to give me a headache. Though, the thin lines that are present on the buildings aren't the real issue. It's when I look at the lines on the people walking down the street that I start to feel ill. I just can't stop my thoughts from turning dark. It's not as though the people covered in lines make me feel sick, per se. What makes my bile rise up in my throat is the fact that they remind me of how cheaply, how easily, the life of a human being can be snuffed out. We wander amidst the bustle of the city's nightlife. Akoi doesn't utter a single word the entire time. She simply marches resolutely onward, as though she has some ultimate destination in mind. Over the course of about 2 hours, we visited every prominent location around the station. In the end, we didn't turn up even a single person with the abnormal lines we were searching for. Well, shit.
We didn't find shit, and this is shit. I'm sure my sister is worried sick of, like, all home and shit. Damn. Anyways, Shiki, you can put your glasses back on now. As I thought, there aren't any more dead tonight.
I put on my glasses. I feel a sense of relief as my vision returns to normal. Should we really be giving up so easily? We only did one lap around the city.
Yeah, one look around is all we need. Traces of someone's presence linger around for a while, even after they're gone. Despite that, I didn't pick up even a hint of the dead anywhere in the city. It's possible that the dead from earlier was the last one out collecting food. From here on, we'll be grinding our way through the dead on the next rung up.
You seem upset, Arkwide.
Of course I am. Even though you came all the way for me, it was a total bust. I really wanted to show you my cool side, too.
Cool side?
I have one of those.
Now that I know what's got her down, I start to feel the urge to do something about it. Well, I don't really mind if it ends up being a waste of time. If you're that unhappy about it, then why don't we just take another lap around the city? I'll see if I can sharpen my senses this time around as well. You never know, we might still be able to find something.
No, I can't let you push yourself any further tonight.
What do you mean? I'm not pushing myself that hard.
But you are. You just haven't realized it yet. Even now, your face is extremely pale. Come on, sit down on the bench. You'll be able to relax a little that way, right?
Arkwide firmly ushers me over to the bench. Well, if we're being honest, I do actually feel like I'm on the verge of being sick. I'll just take a seat for the time being. Even that small comfort is enough to make me slip a sigh. I wonder if sitting down released the tension that had been holding me together, or if the fatigue that had been building up simply hit me all at once. Despite my shoulders feeling heavier, I feel a lot better overall. I guess that's proof I really was pushing myself. Thanks. I needed that. But this really doesn't come close to the headaches that I've suffered from in the past. There were the times I got such bad vertigo. There were times I got such bad vertigo I thought I was about to lose consciousness. This is nothing in comparison. If I rest here for a little while, breathing deeply as I allow the night breeze to play over me, my nausea should fade in due time. My problems are trifling compared to Arkwide's wounds. That's why you don't have to worry. Arkwide?
I just realized I accidentally muted my mic. You're a frail creature. So don't push yourself. You think you're fine just because you didn't faint? You're dead wrong. Simply using those eyes of yours and at all puts you in danger. You shouldn't strain yourself to make out things you can't see. If you abuse your brain like that, you run the risk of turning into a cripple.
That's not. What?
I don't know. Ignore me.
No, I accidentally pressed up instead of down.
Yeah, no, yep. I
It's
noticed
fine.
that.
It's fine.
Is it
Huh?
not?
Who's going to become a cripple?
You are! Why don't you feel any sense of danger? To think that you're a pacifist despite being in possession of such rare mystic eyes. Do you have any idea how juicy of a target this makes you? You've honestly done well to make it this far. Normally someone would have plucked you out and gobbled you up by now.
In what country would that be considered normal? Or rather, I'd appreciate it if you stopped looking down on one of the most law-abiding countries in the world. Call me a peace-loving idiot, but isn't it amazing that we've maintained this degree of public order for so long?
Fine. I don't want to tell you all this, but let me explain things to you properly. Ready, Shiki? You said that you can make out the lines of death on living things a lot easier than you could on inanimate objects, right? The reason for all that comes down to the transmission lines in your brain. The death of things, we say that you're seeing the fate of an object, but in reality, it's a bit more nuanced. It's more like you're reading it than seeing it. Hold on. We're explaining things, which means I need to put my... Because I was gonna draw something, but clearly this is Arcowide's episode. So, let me settle myself. All events have a foundational cause, an absolute first. The point where the universe began, yet also the point where it will end. At this point, there is an archive of all things, though it's less of an archive and more of just an existence, not really informational. It is existence, nothing more. It has no will unto itself, and no possible directive either. It simply lets cause flow out of itself, almost like it's this source maelstrom. Everything that exists in this world flowed from that maelstrom, and all things derive their current form from it. You and me, bloodsuckers and humans, all nothing more than atoms that originated there.
Wait. Oh my god, she's talking about the root. Okay. She's talking about the root.
You sound so excited.
No, I mean...
Oh my god, the root! I don't know what that means.
Okay, so, the root is the, it's essentially the source of everything in the universe in Type Moon lore. The root is the primordial beginning and end where everything, flows from and back to. Everything is made from the root, and everything that is will eventually just go back into the root. It is also the source of mystery, wherein mystery is being the source of like everything supernatural in the Type Moon universe.
Okay.
When say mages use magecraft, they are manipulating mystery. Supernatural creatures each have mystery. Things lose mystery whenever they are properly explained by stuff like the laws of physics and stuff and science. Mages are all trying to reach the root in order to either document it or just become magicians and all powerful.
They're gonna use true magic and poof rabbits out of a hat.
Yes, actually.
No, yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what she's talking about, at least.
I mean, that would make sense, considering it is Type Moon.
Yes.
And they are trying to connect everything together.
Yes.
Ooh.
Anyways, let us continue, I suppose.
Yes. But now we are all too far removed, too hopelessly complex to return to that initial cause. Anyway, you should at least be able to understand that as a first exists, right? But you see, no matter how far removed we could become from that foundation, we are still existences that were derived from it. As such, we are still connected to it, even if by the thinnest of threads. The source of all things, a record of the beginning and the end of everything. To be connected to it would be the... Oh my god.
I believe in you.
Thank you. To be connected to it would be to discern the end of all existences. In higher animals, the brain is what governs the facilities of reception and transmission. But in nearly all humans... Oh my god, she talked... That is a very long paragraph, my love.
Holy crap.
But in nearly all humans, these transmission lines are non-receptive to things other than themselves. However, among them, there are those who have dormant lines, and they are receptive. Humans who aren't otherworldly beings, yet are still capable of enacting supernatural phenomenon without the use of magic circuits.
Huh.
Thumbs up. I read all of it. Huzzah. I don't know what any of that means. My first thought was, is that like Shiro? But no, Shiro has
magic circuits, yeah.
They're oddly, like, weak and dormant, but they're there.
Yeah. So, yeah, Shiki isn't a mage, but he can still use mystery.
Yeah, because he's got the eyeballs.
Yeah, because he has magic eyes. He's got the mystic eyes.
My brand.
I think that's what, yeah. I think that's what Arcoide's trying to say.
Yeah.
At least.
It's like, hey, you're a normal human, but you got whacked in the head really hard, and now you can see lines. Congratulations. I don't even know. None of us even know what the accident is. Because, like,
no.
Okay, to be fair, it makes sense that he wouldn't remember it, because that's the thing with trauma. You forget. If it is that bad, your brain literally puts it into a tiny little box and tries to float it down the river, and you, like, it has to be a very, very, harsh, like, triggering point to make you remember things of that past, which is why kids who had a really bad childhood don't remember any of it. Because their brain literally locked it away.
Dang.
So it makes sense that he wouldn't remember this thing. He knows there was an accident, and he knows that it caused his eyes, and he kind of remembers. Like, we've gotten bits of it where it's like, oh, I remember there being a lot of blood, and my sister was there. But he doesn't remember the exact everything of it, because his brain said no, and then put it into a little box.
Yeah.
With a lot of chains and a lot of locks, and said no.
I guess the reason Shiro remembers the Fuyuki fire is because it wasn't all bad.
Yeah, the reason he would remember the Fuyuki fire is because he finds it not as this is gonna sound stupid, but he finds it not as traumatizing because it launched his heroism.
Yeah, because he got rescued by Kiritsugu.
Yeah, so he doesn't. While it was a very big part of him, he doesn't see it as a big trauma, like a huge trauma. Like, obviously it was traumatizing, but it wasn't a big enough trauma that his brain said no, because it launched a part of who he is, and and if he forgot it, he would forget his heroism.
Yeah.
So that's the fun little differences between Shiro and Shiki.
Wow.
Woo! We love brains.
We'll get to Shiro. We'll get to Shiro eventually.
We will get to Shiro eventually. My little boy, my baby, to whom I love so much.
The funny sword man. I am the bone of my sword.
The funny sword man, to whom I just want to, like, I just want to cuddle him. In the carnival where she puts
Carnival,
where she
Carnival
puts him,
Phantasm.
yeah, where she puts him to sleep. I just want to do that, but like, without him having chronic nightmares. I would really prefer him not doing that.
Fair enough, I guess. I accidentally pressed next. Alright, whatever.
That's fine. I was ready anyways. These are what mages classify as psychics. Not to be confused with sidekicks. Those are different.
Wait. Okay, sure. I can get down with this. Alright.
Well, you got
Whatever.
sidekicks and then you have sidekicks.
Alright. So, which one am I?
Sidekicks, not sidekicks.
Alright.
Funny enough, so if you say psychics and then sidekicks in a American accent,
American.
saying psychics and sidekicks, it's very clear which one is which. But when you say it in a southern accent, it's like, yeah, psychics. It's like, which one did you just say?
You have to really, you have to really like
you have to really
enunciate
listen.
the D.
Yeah. You gotta really, like, pronounce the D. Like, it has to be sidekicks.
Yes.
Anyways, mutants, who, in spite of being human, are inherently a kind of magic circuit in of themselves. Like, say, a person who has never studied the arcana, but is able to see the death of things.
I'm sorry, Arcoide. I know you've gone out of your way to tell me this, but my brain can't keep up with this conversation at all.
It's fine. You don't have to understand any of it.
I do. Me, Keith, behind the screen. I understand it.
The man puppeteering Shiki.
I got it.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted to say was that you shouldn't force yourself to look at things that are hard to see. Since I can't perceive any of this, I can't be certain, but I'd imagine those lines aren't the only thing you can see. Separate to the lines, you can also see their originating point, can't you? That big
She's
hole.
spot on. Yeah, the big hole, the big dot.
The big dot that was in Vlav, his Slurpee point.
His Slurpee point.
his big gulp point.
That is where they put the straw.
When they bring him all the blood, he just like stabs himself and they just pour. He puts like a funnel like right there into that point and they just pour the blood in. He's like, I've turned myself into a big gulp.
I am now all powerful because I am the big gulp.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
She's spot on. When I'm concentrating on trying to see the lines, if I try hard enough, I also start to see points as well. In fact, during the final moment I spent face to face with Vlav, I could see a giant vortex-like point inside his body. Now that I think back on it, that wasn't the only time I've seen them. Whenever I do, I'm assailed by a phantom pain, as though my brain is being... Whenever I do, I'm assailed by a Metal Gear phantom pain, as though my brain is being hacked off at the stem, and I lose consciousness. I had to make that joke. Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. I think it's 5. I really hope it's 5. Otherwise, someone's gonna get mad.
There was a Vine. Anytime I hear Halo, there's a Vine where he was reading like games and things incorrectly, and he read Halo as hello, You know, like, is it me you're looking for? And I was with my friends in a Target, and I was doing that with other things, and it was Halo Wars 2. And then I said, Hello, es Wars dos. And I think about that sometimes. I just wanted to share. That's it. You know, just hello, es Wars dos.
Alright. Anyways, whenever I do, I'm assailed by a phantom pain, as though my brain is being hacked off at the stem, and I lose consciousness. But I definitely still see those points. Right. Back then, back when I killed you, I'm certain I saw those points. There were a bunch of them, and the lines flowed from one point to point, as if weaving them all together. To use a metaphor, they were like lines on a connect the dots.
I was gonna, like, why not, instead of fucking blood vessels, why not use, I don't know, like, a spider web, or knitting, or crocheting. Like, any of that would have been far better than just saying they looked like fucking blood vessels.
I mean, I suppose he also wants to equate it with like life or a living thing. And he also kind of associates the lines with blood anyways, so
That's fair. But I feel like saying they looked more like spider webs would have been cooler.
I mean, to be fair, they do kind of do look like blood vessels.
No, and that's totally fair. But with how fucking poetic he's been up until this point, I'm surprised he didn't go with fucking spider webs or some shit.
Fair enough. If the lines are blood vessels, then those points are something that give rise to those blood vessels.
Listen, where things fuck.
Listen.
Lands where things are prone to death and death itself. I wonder what it all means. If you really wanted to, I think it'd be possible for you to see the death of inorganic matter. But in order for your brain to do that, if its transmission lines would have to go from being receptive to the living frequency to being receptive to the inanimate frequency, and then try to understand their death. But in reality, that is an impossible task. If you overload your brain like that, you will stop working.
What does that mean?
Well, I kind of need you alive, so I'm not going to explain that much, but like, I just need you to know that overloading it might make your brain just go.
Stop working. Huh? Do you mean that these eyes won't be able to see death anymore?
Absolutely not. Shiki, what do you think happens to an engine that's blown out from being pushed too hard?
It's destined for the junk pile, right? If an engine seizes up even once, it's never going to work again.
His eyes just explode.
No.
That's an ending. If that's not an ending, missed opportunity where his eyes
Oh, jeez. So that's what she meant. Simply put, the headaches I get from looking at death are like the screaming of an engine pushed past its red line.
Do you get it now? Just looking at things that appear easily should be no problem. But you should stop trying to see the things that can't be seen. It's nothing else. At least stop when you reach that point when your blood vessels start to burst and put a strain on your brain. If you go any further, you may end up living out the rest of your days as a vegetable.
That's not great.
You should show some appreciation for the mage that created those glasses for you.
Hey, she's not a mage, she's a magician.
Yeah, whatever. Magic schmagic, whatever, just little squares. Most psychics use their powers without knowing the risks and end up crippling themselves as a result. Though, given that they're destined to be outcasts from human society despite being humans themselves, maybe they're better off that way. That seems to be the reason I'm here. I'll give you your old life back.
Having said that, Sensei then created these glasses for me. I owe such an incredible amount to her that it makes my heart ache. On that day, 7 years ago, that person saved the Tonoshiki of today in more ways than one.
By the way...
As I sat there grappling with these profound emotions, Arcoid popped up right beside me and peered into my face. My heart can't take that right now. We just had a good talk, so I would have liked it if she'd been a bit more respectful.
Personal boundaries? That's cute. That's cute. You don't have those. You're not allowed to have those.
What do you want? If it's about the glasses, I'm not handing them over.
It's not that. What do you want to do now? Doesn't seem like any more dead will come out tonight, so do you want to call it a day?
The time is now 11 o'clock. The curfew of the Tono residence has long been broken.
Okay, Mr. Save. This is fully up to you. I'm okay with either.
Fair enough. I'll talk with Arcoid a little longer. Even though I've decided to help exterminate the vampire, there's still many things I don't know. No, my nausea hasn't subsided, so I'll stick around until I'm feeling better. I've got some questions for you as well, since we're here. Patrolling the city may be off the table, but just talking should be no problem, right?
Really? I'm up for it, but are you sure? Don't humans usually get sleepy at this time of night?
It is 1 a.m. I'm game.
For what? Oh, it's 1 a.m. I was like, game for what? This game. We're game for this game. That's what we're
Yes, of course. It's no big deal. I've never been much good at sleeping anyway. What a mood.
Not good at it. As in, insomnia?
Sure, let's go with that, I guess.
I've got a couple ways that'll put your ass right out if you want to try any of them.
What the hell does that mean? No, I can get to sleep just fine. I simply don't like doing it.
You don't get any dreams?
Dream? No. I don't concern myself with such vagaries.
I love how it bent down to like her midsection.
So you say. So you say. Anyway, I'll keep you company until midnight. Although I can leave if you're getting tired of all the talking.
Oh, so it's like Cinderella. You're gone at midnight. No, I'm not tired at all. On the contrary, I'm raring to go.
I see. I respect your enthusiasm, but please don't get carried away and start roughhousing. No punching the ground or anything like that.
How about you?
What?
I wouldn't do anything as pointless as that. Jeez, what kind of person do you take me for? You misunderstanding something again.
Don't worry. I know exactly what to take you for. A vampire who goes too far and doesn't know how to hold back. Now then, without further ado, I should throw some questions our way. What I want to ask her about is... Ooh,
Uh,
these are some good questions. Wait,
well, we kind
oh,
of.
oh, oh!
Oh, we only can do one or two. We can't ask her about the 27 ancestors.
That's...
Interesting. I guess. Well, we know about her clothes, I think. I think we have, like, enough information. Unless you want to know about her clothes.
Yeah, I think that's fine. More details regarding vampires. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
I really ought to deepen my understanding of vampires. Vampires' sires and the dead they keep as underlings. I'll ask her about their relationship in more detail.
That's a pretty mundane topic to pursue.
Well, sorry for starting with the basics. Weren't you the one that said everything follows from the fundamentals?
Wow, just what I expect from the paragons that constructed the pyramids with nothing but their human strength. So dependable and reliable. Alright then, tonight let's crack open our textbooks for the intermediate vampire studies and delve into the structure of of vampire society. I know how to read. Totally.
It's not a course that I particularly want to take, but... Well, I need the credits right now. I'll stay quiet and listen to what Arcoid-sensei has to say.
I say that, but it would take too long to explain the whole history. For now, I'll limit the scope to our current enemy, the dead apostles. The majority of the dead apostles are the traditional types, and so the way they reproduce...
Propagate?
Yeah. My brain just went pomegranate, and I was like, that's not
Pomegranate?
what that says. Propagate is by sucking blood to increase their numbers. I don't need to explain this any further, right?
Yeah, the whole suzerains and underlings thing, right? One leader commanding a large number of workers. Something along those lines?
It's like a hive of bees. Yeah.
The whiteboard comes out.
They're in the middle of the park. Where did she get this? It kind of made sense when they were in, like, the hotel, because it was a very ritzy hotel. Like, that kind of made sense. They're in the middle of the park. Where did this come from?
Nowhere. Don't worry about it.
Okay, she just has a bag that she just, like, rips things out of. It's fine.
Yeah,
She's like Mary Poppins. She's Mary Poppins. It's fine.
She's Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins. I was gonna say the same fucking thing. I'm so glad we're sharing the same brain cell.
Yep.
Yeah, those workers come in different varieties as well. Like bees. We touched on this before, but here are the ranks. First, we have rank 1, corpses. Unable to stand on its own, it follows orders from its master. These have no will of their own, and are merely puppets that follow their master's orders. If the master doesn't command them to do anything and leaves them as corpses, they'll eventually die. Basically, just cannon fodder. They're just beings that have had their blood sucked and replaced with that of the vampires. One of the types of creatures we collectively refer to as the dead. Next, we have rank 2, ghouls.
Ghoul!
Is that fucking Tokyo Ghoul?
Is that Yo, is Tokyo Tsukihime? Tsukihime Ghoul? Anyways.
Wait, where do they live? Have they mentioned? They live in Soya?
Yeah, Soya.
So, it's Soya Ghoul. So
Soya Ghoul.
Soya Ghoul.
Jeez.
Although they have a will, They're incapable of deliberate thought. These dead are able to emulate the appearance they had while they were still alive. The magical energy of their side prevents them from decomposing entirely, but they're still falling apart on the inside.
Huh. Interesting.
Since their brains are in the process of rotting away, they're ruled by their instincts as a result. As a result, they are far more ferocious than the rank 1 dead. I guess you could call them the rank and file. Also a part of the dead, by the way. Rank 3. Undead. From here on, we're dealing with the creatures that could arguably be referred to as vampires. Living corpses and the undead. Their cognitive abilities aren't what they once were, but they can still blend in with human society on their own. These are high-ranked soldiers whose brains have been completely reconstructed since their initial death. Sunlight doesn't faze them either. However, their true form can easily be exposed if they don't take pains to keep themselves properly embalmed. Can you imagine they just drink embalming fluid? And that's all for the dead category.
I see. I guess there are grades even to these zombies, these dead. So basically, the higher their rank, the more they develop from ordinary corpses to ones that can take action. This has got me wondering. Not to go off on a tangent, but who was it that started calling these things corpses and ghouls and so on? Was it you?
Sorry to disappoint, but this terminology was the work of the church. It's a handy set of terms, so people picked up on it, and eventually it became a de facto standard in the magecraft world.
She's just drawing flowers.
The real question is, who was it from the church that spread this information? Well, it doesn't really matter. Hold on, I need to pull out my chapstick.
Alright.
Oh my god. There's one of 4. Okay, Keith, pick one. Vanilla bean, pomegranate, raspberry, sweet mint, or strawberry sherbet.
I like vanilla.
Alright, we're pulling out the vanilla. She's free! There we go. It smells nice.
Nice.
Put that there. Anyways. Next, we have rank 4, Nightkin. Like a napkin, but with a T. And
sure.
No P. These undead retain the personality they had when they were alive and act as vampire apprentices. Their physical abilities far outstrip those of a human, but the price they pay for it is to suffer extreme chills and thirst. These are low-ranking knights, fledgling vampires as it were. Oh, so probably... Huh?
Low-ranking knight, anemic when exposed to sunlight. Interesting.
I would bet Vlav was because they never put a name to him, and she may say that Vlav was a nightmare, which is the rank above it, before he became a true sire.
Right.
Or maybe she said he was a lesser dead. I can't remember, but calling him she kept calling him a knight.
She kept calling him knight, right?
So he might have been a knightkin.
Yeah, he might have been a knightkin.
That just
or who also just happened to be a knight.
Fair.
I suppose, but you know.
Who knows? He's dead now.
Anyways.
If a vampire of rank 6 or above sucks the blood of their prey carefully, little by little, then that victim will start out as a rank 4 vampire. I fucking hate Roman numerals. If a nightkin is exposed to sunlight, they may become anemic, but it won't cause them to burn up. So Shiki might be a nightkin. Or above. Which is why Noelle Sensei is like, something's fucking off about you.
I mean, I don't know if he's a vampire.
Well,
but
here's the thing. How he's never had an anemic attack during the night.
I suppose.
Like, even when he was with Arcoide, like he didn't have an anemic attack almost the entire time they were together. And if they're anemic during the day, he's only ever had an anemic attack during the day, which obviously can be like, oh well, because it's the day, he's at school, he's stressed. But then when he gets home, like, he's fine.
I guess so.
So, and they say, like, they carefully, like, little by little. So he might be like half. He never got fully turned. And that's what the incident was where they were trying to fully turn him, but then they fucked up.
I guess. And perhaps.
Something. That's my theory. That's the working theory I have, is that he got fucking wrecked. But only halfly. Which is why he's anemic. And also he got his little mystic eyes. Because Arcoide mentioned that people... I think she mentioned that vampires have, like, you know, like when they look at people, they have magical shit in their
They have
eyeballs.
mystic eyes.
Yeah,
They themselves have mystic eyes.
So they themselves have mystic eyes. So when he got bit, or whatever the thing was, those were the mystic eyes he got.
I guess that's fair.
He got anemia because the sun fucks him up, and also super fucking magic eyes. That is my working theory currently.
Alright.
Granted, either I am usually, whenever I have a theory, I am either 100% on the money or off in fucking Scotland. Like, I am either nowhere near correct or very, very correct. So, we will see.
Well, let's see, I suppose.
That's how it was when I was watching the movie today. I was on the money, like, every fucking time. Every time, and I was like, good. Alright. Fucking, how do I do a southern accent? Okay. In the Magecraft world, this is the final rank that people would still consider to be a person. Quote unquote.
Vampire apprentices. So does that mean they're no longer classified as dead?
Yeah. Vampires that reach rank 4 can survive even if they're separated from their sire. From their sire's point of view, they've gone from things to living things, or something like that. Only about 1 in 1,000 reach rank 4. Next, we have rank 5, Nightmare. They turn into horses. That only come out at night. The vampiric curse runs so deep into their blood that on the top of capabilities of rank 4 vampires, they are also capable of manifesting an ability that is either inherited from their sire or
Intrinsic?
That's what I thought it said. Or intrinsic to the individual themselves. Ooh, other thing that I had a thought on. That's why he wanted to kill her so bad when he first met her. If he has a sire that also has, like, anger towards her. Because if they're connected. Because, like, he was fine. And then immediately there was that switch that went off in his brain of, I need to kill this woman. So it might have been like an underlying, like, fucking sleeper agent thing from his sire. Thoughts with B. Again, I might be 100% wrong, but
Fair enough.
you know, it's a thought.
Alright. Anyways.
These are high-ranking knights, fully fledged vampires. And finally, we have rank 6, dead apostles. Completely independent bloodsuckers. Though bloodsucking and corruption, they can create offspring. Or through bloodsucking and corruption, they can create offspring, though not ones higher than rank 6. As an upstart, this is about as far as you'll go. You could say that vampires of this rank are like a Citadel? No.
Citadel.
That is Citadel unto themselves. The vampire lurking in this city belongs to this rank. They're calamities. It is calamities.
Yeah, calamities.
Okay. They're calamities that sire offspring in the form of underlings, eating communities whole. Dun, 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 the dry erase board. That's all for the Dead Apostle class system. Anything else in particular you're wondering about?
Which rank would Vlov fall into?
Either Nightkin or... yeah, Dead Apostle. He would of course be rank 6, a Dead Apostle. Technically he managed to skip a few ranks beyond that one. But that's a story for another time.
Alright, one more question. And this is the big one. You said that it was a class system, so who decides it? Or rather, how is it decided? If vampires propagate themselves by sucking blood, why are all these so different from one another?
Ah, that's very astute observation. That's the greatest flaw of the Dead Apostles. Or rather, what distinguishes them, I guess. Not everyone who has their blood sucked by a Dead Apostle is able to become a vampire, nor do Dead Apostles turn just anyone into a vampire. Spawning underlings and feeding are two different things. Humans who only have their blood sucked simply die without turning into vampires. But if the Dead Apostle instead transforms some of their own blood, transfers some of their own blood into the human, it will take control, and then kill them. Afterwards, they are reborn as cursed vampires. I'm telling you, Shiki is part vampire. I'm telling you. I feel it in my very thin bones. These ranks are a representation of the depth of their curse.
So, that means that guy from earlier wasn't killed and then later resurrected. His sire killed him with the express intention of turning him into a vampire.
Yeah. However, creating underlings isn't a walk in the park. It's not quite that easy for vampires to expand their clans. If it's just a rank 1 corpse thereafter, they can forcibly turn people into their soldiers just by killing and then transferring their blood into them. But to increase the number of rank 2 vampires and above, the victim's own talents and aptitude become necessary.
Aptitude? Aptitude for what, exactly?
Something like an immunity against bloodsuckers, I guess? Most humans don't have this aptitude. As a result, once they've been injected with vampire blood, the vampire can use their own powers to control them. It's like a disease that keeps the human working for them even after death. But you could hardly call this a high quality underling. Underlings that can't even fend for themselves would be a huge burden for the vampire sire. Having to personally tend to each of your workers every time you wanted to have them do something would be putting the cart before the horse, no?
She's right. Vampires that have sired a bunch of dead usually spend most of their time sleeping in their coffins. As I understand it, vampires that have been alive for a long time aren't very fuel efficient. As such, even if they don't take action every often and used up their blood, they still need their servants to collect it for them. So it would go against that purpose if they needed to expend their own energy on those underlings.
Humans who do possess that aptitude can fend off the vampiric curse. Past that, it's just a question of if they can survive, whether they lose to the vampire blood and perish, or overcome it and are reborn. The corpses that are being found in this city are humans who had that aptitude, but ultimately succumbed. The end result is simply a corpse of someone that has been killed, abandoned in the streets since the dead can move around on their own after they've been killed. The only bodies that would remain to be found are those of the people who couldn't turn into them, right?
I see. If you turned into one of those zombies, then you wouldn't leave behind a corpse.
Exactly. The victims you see highlighted on the news are actually the exceptions, not the norm. They had enough aptitude to catch the attention of the vampire, but ultimately passed away as humans. Around 1 in 100 people possess this aptitude. Of those, only the ones that can adapt to and withstand the foreign substance that has entered them are able to become a rank 4 vampire or higher. People often say that vampires are like a pyramid scheme in this regard, but it's not like they can turn just anyone into their kin by transferring their blood. In fact, as times change, the number of beings that can truly be called vampires are dwindling.
Arcoid said that it isn't so easy for them to grow their clans. For vampires, minions and offspring are two different things. The dead that Arcoid took down earlier was nothing more than a minion, only capable of basic tasks. So, does that mean the man from earlier had already been killed long ago, and was following the vampire's orders without any sort of awareness of what he was doing?
Whether they're aware or not would depend on their rank. Rank 1s are nothing more than automatons, but rank 3s still have functioning brains. They're able to comprehend what kind of creature they've become and continue to serve. They make the college's choice to kill humans and send the blood to their vampire sire.
Wait, that can't be right. These are people that were killed out of nowhere and then woke up to find they've been turned into moving corpses. They've obviously been forced into doing this against their will.
I've run into dead like that before. Ones that begged for their life with excuses along those lines. I'll be killed if I disobey. I was only doing what I was told. In other words, they kill other humans because they don't want to die. How's that any different from killing of your own free will?
Well, that's...
Dead that are still lucid will say their hands were tied, that they had no choice in the matter. But they still had the option to go against their master and die. Despite this, they choose to kill humans. That sure reads to me like they're killing their former kin of their own volition. Well, not that it matters to me either way. I'm simply out to kill anyone that's connected with the dead apostles.
I'm speechless. What Arcoid said was correct. It makes complete sense. But the logic behind it is that of a vampire, of a powerful being. We humans do not live our lives so correctly, nor do we live our lives so simply.
And there's one more thing I need to clear up. The underlings can defy their sires. The vampires we call dead apostles grant their underlings free will. It's as if they are inviting those underlings to turn against them, to challenge them. Vlad was a perfect example of this. A vampire who killed his sire and in doing so became a dead apostle and the new CEO of 7-Eleven.
Very good, very good.
Listen, I need you to remember this, Shaky. Vampires classified as dead apostles, they actually love humans. No, it's more like they love the things that humanity embodies, like big gulps and blue takis. That's why they can be as cruel as they like. You humans are so primary. Humans are the sole creatures on this planet capable of extinguishing life for no reason other to inflict suffering.
The things that humanity embody, like intelligence and emotions? Aquad said something earlier, that humans cannot comprehend the death of inorganic matter. In the same way, rocks and animals cannot comprehend the death of humans. The death of another's emotions, their psychological suffering. These are things only humans can take pleasure in. Are you telling me they're just left with this freedom just so they can suffer? I don't get it. Why would a vampire do something like that? That's just so meaningless. So sickening.
I guess so. I wouldn't deny that vampires are quite sickening. But this behavior is limited to dead apostles. Those who were bloodsuckers from the start would never do something like this.
Those who were vampires from the start? That's right. You mentioned that there are two types of vampires, didn't you? Those that started off as vampires, and those who were once human but became vampires. So, by those that were once human, you mean the dead apostles, right?
Yeah, more or less. There are some who become immortal as a result of magecraft, while others had their blood sucked by a true ancestor and became the underlings. Shiki, you said that it was sickening for that man who we killed earlier to be used like that, but there are far worse fates out there. There are those among the dead apostles with even more unimaginable ways of amusing themselves.
Amusement. Are you saying that they kill humans and turn them into playthings just to amuse themselves?
I won't deny it. The dead apostles' entertainment is as important as breathing. While they were once short-lived humans, as they've come close to immortality, imperfect as it may be, their greatest foe has become boredom.
And just get some video games or something, like, jeez.
Visit a 7-Eleven. Unlike us, they become immortal with no clear goal in mind. The moment they obtained that immortality, they lost all of their material wants. Since their goal was immortality in and of itself, I suppose it was a foregone conclusion.
What the hell? Playing around just because they're bored? Don't give me that crap. Besides, if you don't have to worry about dying from old age, shouldn't that be more than enough? What kind of entertainment could they really need?
That's the thing. Unfortunately for them, it was more than enough. But because of that, their lives end up having no meaning at all. Intelligent beings that recognize the pointlessness and stagnation of their own lives lose all point to their existence. Being gradually worn down scares them so much that they start to devise their own amusement. It's as if they're trying to affirm to themselves that they're still alive, that there are still things that can be enjoyed. Such is the origin of the aristocracy. They came up with their own little game, mimicking humans by building empires of suzerains and expanding their influence. A pithy?
Pithy?
A pithy name for it might be the kingdom of the dead. I would never have guessed it, but they seem to find it quite engrossing. Pithy.
Yeah, okay, it's pithy.
I just heard another voice come out of your microphone, and I got so scared for a second.
Yeah, no, that was just Google.
Thank you, Google. Very cool. I've said this before, haven't I? That they like to pretend to be human. Vlad visited a 7-Eleven consistently, over and over, to eat human food. That bitch never needed to eat human food or drink human drinks.
I mean, did he pay for it?
Yes. Maybe. I don't know. I never followed him. You can ask your friend if she's not dead. In order to amuse themselves, dead apostles distribute their own blood to the humans they feed on and killed. 1 in 10,000 corpses will survive against the odds, mature, and eventually kill their own parent and become a new dead apostle. Okay, when she's talking about this, there's an anime called Shiki. I've talked about this briefly, and
right.
The way she's explaining it is like basically the plot of Shiki. Because the plot of Shiki is that there are these strange people that move into this very small town, and people start dying, but not everyone comes back as a vampire, but some people do. Not everyone, but some people do.
Interesting.
My favorite part is there's this one guy who genuinely is a piece of shit. And his whole family dies. Like, all of them die, but he comes back. And he's like, that means I'm the best one. And I'm like, oh my god, my guy, your family is dead. What the fuck? It is funny, though, because when he comes out, obviously, he's dead, and he doesn't know how to not breathe. And the guy who digs him up is like, oh, yeah, you'll get used to that. Don't even worry about it, my guy. Just pretend. It's all good. You'll get used to it. It's a good thing. It's a good show. I never got to finish. I haven't gotten around to finishing it. I think I'm like halfway through it. But I accidentally deleted the tab, so I have to find it again. But anyways, the way she's explaining it is basically the plot of Shiki.
Interesting. All right, cool.
Fun fact, and also it's funny that the main character's name is Shiki. So
yes.
Though their military exploits... I keep reading through as though, because I keep missing the R. Through their military exploits, the knight becomes a ruler. From there, they strive to someday dethrone the king without
Engaging.
Oh,
fudge. Wait.
Yeah, I just won't read. Don't even read. Without
No, it's fine. No.
That wouldn't be... Oh my god.
God dang it. God. Please.
Dead apostles.
There you go. It's fine.
Without engaging in such games, they wouldn't be able to go on living. I suppose that's how delicate. I don't know how to read clearly. I suppose that's how delicate the lives of the diabolical are. Even assuming that you were immortal, if your life has no meaning, then you're no different than the air.
Arcoide shrugs her shoulders, as if to dismiss it all as ridiculous. By all rights, she ought to be no different from the vampire she's described, but there's no sign that she shares such tastes. The hands of the clock reach their zenith. While we were chatting away, the time mercilessly advanced onto the midnight hour we'd agreed would signal the end.
Oh, it looks like the date's rolled over. It's a shame, but I've got to go get some rest soon.
Hey, I've still got some energy left.
That's what you think. Let's call it here for tonight. Besides, we still have tomorrow to look forward to. And you
Arcoide
still
begins.
have the key to my apartment, so.
Hit me up. Arcoide begins to walk away with prancing steps, keeping her eyes on me all the while. Tomorrow? That's. Wait, hold on. We haven't decided where we're going to meet. Hey!
I know where you live and I know where your school is. This place is fine. I think around 10 o'clock should be just right. Good night, Shaky. I'll see you here again tomorrow.
I didn't even have the chance to stop her. With her hand waving happily in the air, Arcoide takes her leave.
She didn't even specify it was 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.
Both of those are completely valid.
Because 10 a.m. is during school time and 10 p.m. is breaking curfew.
Right.
We need to know which one, ma'am. And we don't even have her phone number to ask.
Do you think she has a phone?
She's rich. She has to have a phone. You're telling me you don't think that she plays you can't tell me that she doesn't still have Flappy Bird on her phone.
She is old enough to have it. Anyways.
Exactly.
Well, what a selfish woman is what I wanted to grumble, but the words just wouldn't come. It was wrong to call her something like that. Selfish woman is far too cute of an expression for someone like her. What the hell was that face just now? I look far too mischievous. If she gives me a smile like that, there's no way I can break my promise.
It's our house.
I've returned to the mansion. Since it's the middle of the night, there's not a single light on inside. The front door is unlocked. Hisui. She really left it open for me. I let out a sigh of gratitude. I enter the mansion, treading gingerly so as to not wake Akiha or Kohaku-san.
But Hisui, fuck that bitch.
I take a deep breath and sit down on the bed. My body is absolutely exhausted, just as she said. The bed almost swallows me whole as I collapse into it. Lying there, I let out a deep breath. I made a promise with Arcoide. By some twist of fate, it seems I've once again gotten myself involved in some kind of mess. But what choice did I have? I couldn't just leave her on her own. Or maybe I didn't want to leave that miraculously beautiful, yet inhuman being alone.
Why can't you say nice things like that to my face? I feel like it's not that hard. You know those two things that you use to form words? Saying nice things to my face would not hurt you. I promise.
Shut up, Arkawhite on my shoulder. I'm acting like a fool. I already killed her with my own hands once. What am I getting so worked up about? I'm only lending her a hand with the vampire extermination to protect this city. If I don't, then some harm might befall me, so I have no choice but to cooperate. That is all. Yeah, that's right. Why else would I be doing this? I close my eyes. I take off my glasses. I surrender myself to the enveloping hand of weariness and allow it to drag my body and consciousness down into the dark abyss of sleep. I've decided to help Arcoid out once more. For now, I'll clear my mind of anything unnecessary and prepare myself for tomorrow.
Day 8? Is it day 8?
Day
Is
8.
it day 8? Day 8!
Oh god, that's a...
I don't like the fact that that is red instead of blue.
Um...
That doesn't feel good.
Is that the title screen music? Oh, ayo. We
It
keeping
is the
going?
title screen music. Yeah, I'm good to go. Yeah.
Alright, cool. In those days, the mansion was a giant playground. The forest, a deep ocean. The house, a towering castle. The gardens within those grounds would have taken an uncountable number of days to fully explore. We reveled in all of it. We reveled in it all. Every day was fun. We didn't know anything about growing up. And the notion that we would carry on in this way, day in, day out, was something we never questioned. It was a childhood of puppy-like exuberance. We got along so well that we became inseparable playmates. Every time we looked back, Akiha was there. And whenever we waved, she would hide out of embarrassment. Yeah, that's how things always were. We. So, who's the other person? Okay. In those days, the mansion was a giant playground, the forest a deep ocean, the house a towering castle. A closed-off world that would have taken an uncountable number of days to fully explore. We reveled in it all. Shut the fuck up, birds. I wake up slowly. The morning light chips away at my lingering drowsiness. As I lay there, I somehow feel like I'd seen a nostalgic dream. Oh, right. Forgot about that. Oh, God. No sooner do I wake up than something unpleasant intrudes upon my field of view. A sharp headache gouges deep into the flesh and bone beneath my temple. This morning is so vivid, it's as though the sun had fallen into the garden. Its powerful rays dye the entire room. Right, my glasses. I put strength into my arm to reach for the glasses on my nightstand, but it doesn't budge. There's no feeling in my limbs. I can't will them to move at all. It seems like the only part of my body that's actually functioning is my mind. Shit. Unable to even close my eyes, I simply let the time tick away. The harsh light softens. I regain feeling in my limbs. I take a deep breath, and, finally, stifle this sight by putting on my glasses. I breathe out and lift myself upright in bed at last. It's no big deal. I used to suffer spells like that fairly often back when I was in the hospital. A temporary deterioration in eyesight induced by exhaustion, with an accompanying with an accompanying paralysis of my limbs. And if that wasn't enough, it always does away with my appetite. If I spend too long looking at things with my glasses off, it's a given that I'll end up paying for it like this. But even so, this time, I feel like I can see them more clearly than I used to. The lines on buildings are difficult to see. Even when I can make them out, they're normally quite thin. Seeing them as distinctly as I can right now is pretty unusual. The lingering remains of my headache just feel like a gunshot wound. Sensei said something back then. It's possible my eyes could call forth something bad. Ako had warned me not to use my eyes too much. She said to do so would be to destroy my brain, to destroy Tonoshiki himself. This is the price I pay for getting involved with vampires as a human. The risks I'm taking aren't confined to the times I'm actually going toe-to-toe with a vampire. I'm putting myself in danger every moment of every day. I'm not about to start second-guessing myself now. I knew what I wanted to do when I decided I wanted to help I knew what I was getting into when I decided I wanted to help Arcoide. That's right. Things like this aren't that big of a deal. Besides, even if I were to bury my head in the sand, it wouldn't change the fact that I'm caught in the middle of this turmoil. We'll wipe this city clean of vampires. If I want to protect Akiha and those close to me, I have no choice but to lend Arcoide a hand. Okay. I psych myself up and leap out of bed.
Did you just hit yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a little.
No. Oh, by the way, I was Googling it because I was trying to figure out, okay, what can we make this guy if he's, like, stronger than 7-Eleven Man? Like, what could he be? He's BP America. He's the owner of
BP America.
He's the... Because I looked up... Okay, so I looked up top 10 largest convenience store chains in the United States. Because I'm just going to pretend that they're everywhere. And number 1 is BP America. Number 2 is 7-Eleven. Number 3 is Speedway. 4 is Murphy, which I've never heard of. There's one called Wawa. Like WAWA. I've never heard of that.
Me neither. What?
There's some that, like, I've never heard of, but, like, apparently they're popular enough to, like, be a chain. So, but, the ones we care about, obviously, are Speedway, 7-Eleven, and BP America. So, we can make a joke that he owns BP America, or she owns BP America. Arcoide owns BP America. Someone owns... No. She's the Kroger one. So she owns Kroger, and whoever this fucker is owns BP America. That's the joke we're running with.
Sure, let's go with that.
I've set it up. I've laid the groundwork. Now we just gotta roll out the red carpet.
Anyways, I'll get changed right away. Then thank Asui for last night. Huh? Speaking of Asui, she's nowhere to be found. Past 7 o'clock in the morning. This is around the time that she'd normally be calling out to me from the side of the room to wake me up. That's a bad sign. Oh no.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. First, his friend, Yamizuka?
Yumizuka?
Yumizuka. Okay, I was close. I was close this time. First of all, she's probably dead. And now Hisui isn't in the corner of our room being silent in British. Terrifying.
Uh-oh. She left the door open. Oh no.
This is terrifying.
Oh god. I wonder if she overslept. No, there's no way.
She probably didn't sleep at all until she heard your door close and then passed out.
Yeah, let's go with that. I really hope that she's not fucking dead.
If any of them are dead, I'm going to be so mad.
Oh jeez. An unlikely explanation, as my school uniform has still been neatly prepared on top of the desk. Perhaps she's simply had other matters to attend to. I'm curious what, but it's none of my business. Besides, I don't have any time to spare this morning. I'd better change into my uniform quickly and head down to the first floor.
I love the fact that he's, like, murdered a vampire and knows a vampire. And yet he's like, there's no way a vampire could ever be close to me. Like, no one knows where I live. Argo, I took you home, bitch.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Huh?
The moment I opened the door, memories of last night resurfaced and flashed before my eyes. Amazing. I astound even myself. I really ought to get my head checked. Maybe they can work out what quirk of my mental makeup made it possible for me to forget such a terrifying event. Though that's only if I make it out of here alive. Stand frozen in place like a statue, hands still on the door, unable to take a single step inside. Meanwhile, in the living room... Oh, thank God.
She's not dead. She's not
Oh,
dead.
thank God.
She's alive. She's alive. Can you imagine? We open the door and it's just a fucking murder scene. Just
I gently open the door. Oh, God. As though reprising her role from last night, Akiha is sitting on the sofa. Yohaku-san is standing a little ways behind her. Normally, no matter how prickly of a mood she's in, Akiha still greets me with a "Good morning, Nissan." But today, she's acting like I'm not even here. Well, it goes without saying that it was last night's dereliction of my duty to explain my connection with Arcuite, which has earned me this treatment. It may seem like Akiha is relaxing gracefully, but the pressure she's exuding is no joke.
So you ran off with a blonde-haired floozy. Care to explain yourself, dear brother?
Right, the tension in the living room right now is so thick that you could cut it with a knife. The tension in the living room is so thick that I could probably see lines on it.
Just turn it into fucking butter.
Lord.
See the lines on it. That's funny. So stupid.
Oh, thank God.
Good morning, Shiki-san. Would you like some tea before breakfast?
Well, at least one person here is unconcerned with all this. Good morning, Kohak-san. Maybe I'll take you up on that tea later, once things have calmed down. I returned Kohaku-san's greeting and entered the living room.
Good, because I wasn't gonna get you fucking tea.
Akiha gives me a sidelong glance as I gingerly creep into the room. I'm not going to...
Imagine him doing, like, the Bigfoot walk, where his, like, arms are, like, outstretched as he's, like, trying to sneak to the couch.
I'm not going to falter in the face of this silent pressure. Times like these are the true tests of one's mettle. I had better start apologizing.
You know what? Save, first of all. We always save with questions. It's very important. Can you imagine you, like, greet her cheerfully and she just fucking stabs you in the throat? No. Apologize. Always start with an apology. Like,
yes.
You fucked up. We fucked up.
After what happened last night, there's no way I can just talk my way out of this. Any excuses I make now will just be adding more fuel to the fire. Therefore, I have no choice but to go with a full-speed, full-throttle apology. I need to cut in with the vigorous "I'm sorry" before she has the chance to interrogate me. So about last night, that was...
Nissan,
Oh,
may I offer
God.
you a word of advice?
She cuts me off. Her voice is so frightening that it sends a shiver down my spine.
Remember that you are the eldest son of the Tono family, so I would not apologize lightly if you were. If I were you. An apology is something you do when you accept that you are at fault. And if you are at fault, then as much as it saddens me, I must...
Meet.
Meet?
Yes.
Okay. I must mete out a punishment befitting the eldest son of the Tono family.
Her smile is so sadistic that it's very possible I misheard her saying, much as it gladdens me. If I can't even seek forgiveness by apologizing, then the only thing left for me is to be killed. Right. Time to scram. Sorry, Akiha. As the eldest son of the Tono family, I would like to go to the dining room to get breakfast. Is that okay? It's about time I retreat to the dining room.
Nissan.
Akiha's curt voice brings me to a halt.
Before you eat, there is something we must discuss. Please, take a seat on the sofa.
They are stern words. Words that I cannot disobey. Phrases such as, you reap what you sow, and a foolish brother ought to die revolve in my head. I guess I have no choice but to make my stand and accept my fate. Alright, but please keep it brief if you can.
I feel like that's not something you should be saying right now, hun.
I defeatedly take a seat on the sofa across from Akiha. Kohaku-san prepares a cup of tea for me without a moment's delay. Gives me a small amount of courage, as if she were silently telling me, hang in there. That's right. Akiha might be the family head, but she's still my younger sister. This shouldn't end up being a totally one-sided match. I take a sip of the black tea and lock eyes with her. So, what did you want to talk about?
Did you engage in sexual intercourse with that woman from last night? So we're going to save this image really quick. Boink. Okay. Very important. Did you engage in sexual intercourse with the woman from last night?
No, but with the way she keeps talking to me, I suppose that's a fair assumption. There we go. Yep. That's the best choking noise I've ever made.
Fantastic Oscar-winning performance, truly.
Not good. Choking. I'm choking. Damn it, Akiha. You're not supposed to go throwing fastballs right out of the gate. I nearly choked to death on my tea.
Nissan, are you listening to me?
I'm listening. I can hear you loud and clear.
If that's the case, then answer me. Tell me about the woman from last night, accurately, without deceit and in as much detail as you can without making me upset.
Did you?
Did
she?
What positions did you put her in? It's like, Akiha, I don't think that's something we should be talking about.
Ah, I see. Then what positions did she put you in?
That is also something I do not think we should be talking about. Can you imagine? He just starts making shit up. He's like, well, have you heard of a horse throttle? Just making stupid fucking shit up.
Is that an actual
Oh, I don't know. I know there's one called a mating press, which is the funniest fucking name I've ever heard.
What?
It's called a mating press. It's when you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But the name itself is so fucking funny.
What the hell does... whatever. Alright, sure.
I'll explain later. I'll explain it when you're older.
Okay.
And by older, I mean when we're done recording. I'll explain.
If those are your conditions, then there's nothing I can say.
Even though I just warned you not to make me upset.
If I said we had a lot of sex, would that dissuade you?
We had a lot of sex, and then when I took her away, we then had even more sex in a park.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Just anytime, instead of saying vampire, just put the word sex. Or like fuck. Like that's it. Will any of those sentences make sense? Probably not.
So, those were her warnings, not her conditions. Man, this is really starting to feel like an impossible task.
It's an interrogation. What's that? I couldn't hear you because you were too quiet. Please, speak up. Exactly who is that woman to you, Nissan?
She's a sex.
No, that's where you end the sentence. She is a sex.
She is of the sex.
She's of the sex. God.
Sure.
That's what I'm naming this episode. Just she is of the sex. Unless I can figure out something funnier.
Alright, fair enough.
Just she is the sex.
If I had to say, we're collaborators. Or friends. Sorta? Or rather...
Rather close friends for the two of you to be going out at night like that?
Work friends.
Work friends that stay out until midnight?
Really? Yep.
Overworking together? Overtime?
Yeah, you could say that.
That doesn't help your case at all.
Look, I woke up kind of exhausted today, so can we just like not that's not what I should say.
He just keeps digging and digging and digging. He'll hit bedrock eventually. Yes, I have no opinion on who you choose to have future relationship with. But isn't it true that you're still a student?
Look.
Yes? For the eldest son of the Tono family to... Well, rendezvous. I know that's not what it's called. To rendezvous with an unknown woman night after night. Shouldn't you refrain from such indecent acts?
For your information, she is a very nice woman.
Just rendezvous? God.
She is a very nice woman, and I will not allow anyone to insult her appearance, alright?
But she's blonde.
Yeah, I scored big time. What of it?
God.
Yeah, that's right. Tonoshiki's got game.
I never said that you didn't have game. Whatever that means. But I'm just concerned that if you are having relations night after night, are you using protection? That's my main concern, because as the head, and both of us being in school, I don't think it would be in the best interest of the Tono family for another family member to pop up within 9 months from now.
I don't think she can even get pregnant. I mean, what?
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. I see. So that's how her relationship looks to her.
Well, yeah, she did say that you repaid her with your body. I feel like that's anyone would like come to that conclusion.
Yeah. Hold on, Akiha. First things first, we don't have that kind of relationship. All I'm doing is helping her find something. Once that's all over and done with, there'll be no reason for us to see each other again.
I feel that like that's kind of rude, honestly. You want to see me again? Damn. That's odd, considering how awfully close you looked. But you're suggesting that was simply my imagination, Nissan? Are you telling me that your relationship with this person is temporary and purely transactional?
Akiha's gaze is cold. If I just nod yes, this conversation could end peacefully. But I feel strangely reluctant to affirm that statement. Although we both have something to gain by working together, I find it hard to say that that's all there is to it.
And also, if you agree to it, it sounds like you've like hired a prostitute.
Well, I mean, we're not exactly close, but it's not like I'm helping her purely for mercenary reasons either.
Of course! After all, I've never seen you in a panic like that before. For my otherwise serious brother to reveal his emotions, naturally I would wonder what on earth could have brought that on.
I didn't panic that hard, and I'm not emotionless either. I was just surprised because I didn't expect her to visit our house.
Really now? Even though that woman remained totally calm the entire time she was waiting for you?
She remained calm, but oh my god. Akiha gives me a sidelong glance, as though she has something more to say. It seems like she thoroughly believes that Arcoide and I are going out. Hey, Akiha, could you stop with the misunderstandings? Besides, the only reason we know each other is because... I stopped myself from saying it's because I killed her. It's not like she would believe me if I did tell her the truth. And besides, there's no way I could let her know about that sort of thing. That being said, I couldn't come up with a better explanation, so just like last night, all I could do was mumble some vague words.
If you cannot answer that question, then perhaps I should pose a different one. You've been consistently referring to her as that woman for a while now, but what exactly is her name?
Her name is... Arcoide.
Is that so? Then that means you two didn't meet at school. There are no exchange students at your high school, after all.
Just as Akiha says, there isn't a single foreign exchange student at our school. Wait, why does she know that?
And so, how exactly did you two come to know each other?
We met each other in the city. By chance.
By chance, you say. So then Arcoide-san was the one that called out to you, correct?
Well, actually it was me who called out to her. One hell of a call out.
Right? You know, with a knife.
Technically, Arcoide actually did call out to him. First.
Yeah, because she was like, huh? And then he chopped her up into 17 pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, as you do.
Yeah, totally normal shit. Yeah.
The truth is that there was no calling out to anybody, only murder. After that came the chase. Anyhow, I was the one who started it.
Why did you call out to her?
I don't know, she was kind of hot.
I was gonna say the same thing. It's like, well, I thought she was pretty. She passed by me and I just thought she was all that. So. I thought there was nothing between you and Arcoide-san. Or are you saying that that wasn't your intention at first?
Akiha's question was truly precise. Step by step, she's honing in on my weak point. I'm like a deer standing transfixed in the path of oncoming headlights. Sooner or later, I'll be pushed to a point where I just can't deceive her anymore. It's depressing, but it is what it is. I'm running out of those. At this point, I should just end this conversation even if I have to use force. No, come on. I'm telling you there's nothing between us. Besides, what I do with my life has absolutely nothing to do with you. As for being the eldest son of the Tono household, we both know that's just for show. It shouldn't be a problem even if I were to go out with someone. I know it's unfair to bring up the fact that I was disowned, but she's not likely to back down unless I resort to something like this. Akiha raises her eyebrows, and then stands up without making a sound. That's odd. Thought she'd have a ruthless counterattack in store for me, but contrary to my expectations, Akiha turns away, an uneasy expression on her face.
It's not like I wanted to have this conversation either. I just have a bad feeling about that person. If it were anyone else, I would have simply dropped the matter. However, when I see you let your guard down around that person, I can't help but feel like I'm being foolish.
I don't get it. Akiha spoke through pursed lips, visibly frustrated. What's wrong, Akiha? You're acting a bit strange.
That's enough. If that's what you really want to do, then do whatever you please.
With an uncharacteristically violent stride, Akiha takes her leave of the living room.
Jeez, how could you, Shiki-san?
I literally did nothing.
I feel sorry for Akiha-sama. If you're going to invite a lover over, at least bring one that's a little more normal. If you had done that, then I'm sure even Akiha-sama would have just given her would have given her approval.
Kawaku-san lets out an exaggerated sigh and chases after Akiha. Oh, thank God, Sui's fine.
She said goodbye, but also didn't say goodbye.
Isui sees me off as I leave the Tono residence. Akiha's dramatic exit from the living room still weighs heavy on my mind, but given that Arcoide is the root cause, even if I were to chase after her to try and explain, we just end up talking in circles. I feel bad for her, but until the dust is settled on this incident, I have no choice but to continue on like this. Though I wonder what would happen. I haven't thought it through yet, but I wonder if I could choose to be honest and open up about everything that I've been through. Even if there's a chance nobody will believe me, this is information that could help to keep the city safe. It's already late in the game, but I should start spreading awareness about vampires.
How?
Yeah, that might work.
You want to put up flyers?
I mean, I suppose.
Okay.
I mean, hypothetically, if people actually believed in them, like, they might just, like, straight up disappear. Because that's how mystery works. But, like,
that's fair.
You know, maybe I could start by spreading some rumors on the internet. I take out my phone as I walk. Whether or not anyone will find it credible aside, I should just post everything I've learned so far on some message boards. Okay, just gonna open up Twitter.
God, open up Reddit. r/vampires.
I open up 4chan. I close 4chan. I open up 4chan. I immediately close 4chan.
God. Make an entire Twitter thread. On his side account, not his main account.
Not his main account.
His burner account, really.
Whether people take it seriously or not is ultimately up to them. Telling everyone to trust me in all capital letters would probably have the opposite effect, but if I just publish the raw information, there's a chance it could circulate as an urban legend and serve as a warning that way.
You fool! I have 70 alternate accounts! Eggfucker 1, Eggfucker 2.
He's literally like, source, dude, trust me. Source, it came to me in a dream.
Source, a crazy girl with magic powers told me.
Source. God. Source, it is known.
Source, a vampire themselves told me.
A vampire themselves told me.
Lord.
I have a blonde vampire who calls me Stud Muffin.
Oh my god.
Is that Arahiko?
I don't think so, because
Oh,
he would have
wait.
been like, hey bro.
Oh, wait. Oh,
Is this British man? No, this is the guy that looks like Frankie, I think.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, you there. You got a sec? Someone calls out to me, and I stop walking. When I turn around, I see... Yeah! An unfamiliar man in a business suit. Are you talking to me? Yep, you. I mean, I don't see any other kids walking down this road, do you? He's right. We're on the road in front of the Tono residence, and the only traffic it usually gets is the odd car. The only people that come through here on foot are probably me and the employees of the Tono household. So, hear me out. You came out of that house just now, right? Could it be that you're a child of one of the servants that works inside?
Bitch. Fuck off.
In that case, how lucky. Super lucky. Not for me, but for you. How'd you like to earn a little pocket money? I want to learn a bit about the people of the Tono mansion, you see.
Bitch.
I keep my distance, although I can't explain why. It's not because the man's insincere manner of speaking and rubbed me the wrong way. It's more like I'm terrified by how intense he is. I get the impression that he's paying close attention to my every word, no matter how trifling, careful not to miss any clues to my attitude. You think I'm some sort of busybody, don't you? Well, maybe I am, but I'll make this worth your while, okay? What I really want to know is the guy that just returned to the family, you know? The eldest son. He came back so recently he hasn't shown up in any photos yet. Can you tell me what he looks like, what his favorite foods are, his taste in women, maybe what his weaknesses are?
Well, first of all, his tastes in women are blonde vampiric women with southern accents.
His weaknesses are blonde...
He just realized, I'm sure, that he's talking to the...
Yeah. His weaknesses are, also, blonde vampiric women with southern accents.
Yes. Along with senpais with blue hair.
Senpais with blue hair and glasses, yes. The insincere man leaps up and down, clutching his privates.
What? Oh my god, that's what he looks like. Wait, that's what he looks like.
Holy crap. He's literally...
He's a male archewide with green eyes. Hi, I'm Bennett. Did you get dropped as a baby or something, dumbass? You've obviously got Tonoshiki right in front of you.
I love that you have to say hi, I'm Bennett every time.
I realize I can't get my voice in the correct pitch.
I feel that though. I feel that. A kid? I guess he was hidden behind the other guy just now. This boy doesn't look like he'd be much older than 12. Must have been the one that kicked the man in the groin. Are you serious? But he doesn't smell like a bourgeois at all, does he?
And what kind of smell would that be? Think you can smell money? Or are you talking about the filthy smell of their hands? You're saying that all the wealthy... Wait, you're saying that's... Okay, you're saying that's all the wealthy are? Filth? Those sound like frightened words to me. fucker. Fight words to me, fucker.
Good lord. You look like you're... How old are you, 8?
I'm 11, shut the fuck up.
Good, I don't know anything about talking to kids.
Do you want to be kicked in the groin too?
No, not at all. Maybe some of the Novo Rishar, but that's all. You know, like those loan sharks who squander half their days counting their own money.
So you mean guys like my old man criticizing your own boss? Sure, feeling ballsy today. Ando?
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 Sure, let's go with
Ando.
Ando, I guess. Ando.
Ando.
What on earth have I stumbled into here? Maybe I should call the cops and let them deal with it?
Oh, you think the cops will do anything?
Oh, right.
I thought you were just reading it.
Yeah, Right, 110. Hey, you. Don't just dial 110 without saying anything. Kids these days have no compassion, I tell you. They just jump straight to doing pointless stuff like this. Here, take a look. Huh? I look up from my phone, on which I'd already keyed in 11.
You know, 1-1.
He almost did it. He almost did it. Good lord.
He almost dialed
He was
110.
he was 1 key away, dude.
2 keys technically.
Oh, 2 keys, I suppose.
You had to hit enter.
0 and then the call button. But you know.
Yeah, no, I get you.
The man points toward a black identification card. This is my first time seeing a police ID card up close, but there's no questioning that this is a genuine article. A police ID? Are you a detective by any chance? That's right. We ain't suspicious. We're detectives. Metropolitan Police Department. Criminal Investigations Division 1. Ando Yugo. But like, we've been turned away at the front door since yesterday, you know. Even though we just wanted a little chat, they were rather persistent in telling us to come back when we had an appointment. So here we are, reduced to staking out the road. These have to be the two most suspicious detectives I have ever met.
One of them is 11 and one is like 30.
One is 11 and one is 30. I cannot... The weird thing is, I can't tell who's the more experienced one.
Oh my god. That's very fair though.
Yeah. However, regardless of whether or not that ID card is the real deal, I'm curious as to why they're staking out the area in front of our house. Like, dog, that's loitering.
I don't care if you're a detective. Go away.
Look, I didn't like the dog being in front of our house. I don't like you guys there.
Listen, a dog melted not too far away from where you're currently standing. I don't think you want to be here right now.
I think I can still see the droplets.
I can see the corner where it died.
I
think they're bad news. I'll ignore them. I think, personally, I think if we ignore them, it's just gonna cause bad shit, and this 11-year-old seems very aggressive.
So true.
So I feel like we should just, like, ask them what they want, and just, like, give very small answers.
Fair. Sure.
And if we end up dying, then let me know. It's fine.
It's fine. I should find out more about their intentions. I can't deal with them effectively if I don't even know what it is they're after. If you're okay with talking to me, then I'll hear you out at least. What do you want? Well, it's about that fire at the North Gate. The security firm that was on the scene both the day on the incident and the day after, they're one of their family's subsidiaries, right? I was hoping you'd talk to the person that was in charge on the day, but unfortunately for me, they've already withdrawn. Do you have their contact info by any chance? Oh, is that so? No, I'm afraid I wasn't aware of that. So unfortunately, I don't think I can help. Oh, really? You're the oldest son and you don't know? Well, that sucks. I guess your little sister's the one who holds all the power, huh?
He was disowned for 7 years.
Yeah.
What do you think he would know? What, you think after 7 years he just pops right back into the head family position with no training like his sister has had for the past 7 years?
You think that Akiha was talking to, like, these guys on the day that, she came in late?
Probably.
Hmm.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Fair.
Considering they just said that they kept being pushed away and that they needed an appointment.
Right, fair, fair.
So
What is it you want to ask them about? Are you implying that the Tono group was responsible for that fire? I find that a bit preposterous myself. Hmm? Nah, that's not my intention at all. No, sir. It was a spontaneous combustion, pure and simple. The issue lies a little elsewhere. Well, you're one of the family members, so I can probably let you in on it. I'm sure you probably already know anyway. So yesterday, we found something under the rubble from that cave-in that was rather unpleasant. The forensics team couldn't make heads or tails of it. No, that land belongs to the Dono family. No. According to the records, around 10 years ago, Dono Makihisa bought the land and paid well over market value for it. That's the part I wanted to ask about. Why did he buy a prime piece of real estate in front of a station and turn it into something like a park? I haven't got a clue. Makihisa passed away after all. Is that all you wanted to ask? Huh? Wait, are you not going to forward my message to your sister? I told you who I am and what I'm looking for, right? Unfortunately, my sister is a very busy person. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. If you wish to speak with her, then I suggest you arrange to do so through the proper channels. I turn my back and begin to follow the road down the hill. I know what they're after now. I don't fully understand the situation, but I'm not about to let those shady detectives meet with Akiha.
hey,
The high-pitched voice brings me to a halt. If it had been Detective Ando's, then I would have simply ignored it. But the boy's voice commanded such authority that I simply found it strangely difficult to oppose.
hold on.
Hi, I'm Bennett.
Hi, I'm Bennett. Playing hero. Hero. Fuck. Playing hero and all's fine, but know your fucking place. If you want your death to be an ordinary human one, now's the time to quit.
What did you say? I stop in my tracks and stare at the young boy. Did this guy say ordinary human death just now? What are you trying to say?
Said all I wanted just now, dumbass. If you don't want to listen to it, then go die for all I care. Hey, we're leaving, Ando. Let's get eating already. God damn. Give me some cake, alright? Cake that's got a lot of cheese and honey.
Yeah, your wish is my command. Why did I come all the way to Japan just to babysit this spoiled rich kid?
I thought you were detectives.
A strange...
not the case?
God. A strange duo get in a car that was parked by the side of the road and head off in the direction of a station.
Hi, I'm Bennett.
Hi, I'm Bennett.
Hi, I'm Bennett.
God. Alright. Those two didn't give off the impression of being police, but apparently the authorities are keeping an eye on our mansion. Not only that, but the land in front of the station where the incident occurred belongs to the Tono family? No. That's just a coincidence.
That means that if he were to fuck Arcuite in it would be fine, because he owns the land.
So true, I suppose.
It's his property.
It must be, right? I mean, the cave-in only happened because of Arcoide's thoughtless way of doing things. There's no connection between the killings and the land in front of the North Gate. I shoo away my foreboding thoughts. Pulling myself together, I begin the long descent down the hill.
Descend down the hill. I'm making it's a little note, the song that he sings as he descends the hill.
Sure. My day settles back into a familiar routine. Fourth period, modern society. And so, based means...
Modern society. So, here are some terms that are going to be on the test. Please
Hoggers.
remember them.
Go over the different levels of Pog. There is Pog, Pog Champ. There is Poggers, Pog Champ, and Poggers Champion.
And also, Pogalicious.
Pogalicious.
Also, something that's going to be very important on your test. So be like, it's very important that you remember this. Remembering what GG stands for and how to use it in a proper setting.
Monka W.
GG stands for good game, and a good way to use it would be after you've won a game and you feel like everyone did well. How not to use it is if you were a dip ass and were really fucking rude the entire time but still won, and then you put GG. No one likes you.
Exactly. Any questions?
But what if you use it incorrectly and you lost?
Then you're a dipshit, and you should leave my class right now.
That just makes you a beta cuck.
God.
Oh my god, can you imagine he just starts giving, like, the teacher just starts giving, like, the fucking speech from the Sonic fandom, where it's like, the friend zone isn't as nice as you think it is.
They don't treat you like a friend. They treat you like an item.
Just gives the whole speech. God, I would live for it.
The teacher on the podium reads aloud from a rather bland, uninspired text. I'm lucky enough to sit by the window, so as I calmly listen to the lecture, I take a good hard look at my own face reflected in the glass. Look at
So
that.
he's reading Animal Farm.
I can't concentrate at all. Not because the lesson is boring, but because I'm still struggling to get grips on the situation I'm in. The conflagration in front of the train station that claimed all those lives. The invasion of the city by a vampire. With those events in mind, as I sit here paying half an ear to the lecture, I turn my thoughts on myself. And needless to say, I've been acting strange. Anyone else in my position would surely have been barricaded themselves in their room or fled somewhere far away by now. Yet, here I am, going about my day as usual. It's as though I'm trying to prove to myself that vampires or no vampires, these events are merely abnormalities and hardly worth abandoning my daily routine over. I mean, today is M&M Cookie Day. I wouldn't miss that.
No, obviously. Who the fuck, like, misses M&M Cookie Day? Crazy people.
Though, if I'm being honest, it could just be down to the fact that as a student, I simply can't permit myself to skip school.
Or M&M Cookie Day.
Or M&M Cookie Day. My GPA just is not worth dying over. Or my GPA is just worth dying for. Hi.
That
we
actually
haven't seen
spooked me.
for sure. We haven't seen this lad for a while.
Yeah, mummy man.
I recall the conversation I had with Saiki Goto back at the mansion.
You mean that was like fucking 7 days ago?
That was a week ago, my guy.
That was like almost a whole week ago.
Yeah. If I were to put it into his words, studying is an investment in the future. It would be monumentally short-sighted to sacrifice the compound interest of tomorrow in exchange for a paltry sum of safety today. Besides, it's Dono family money that keeps me fed and watered. If I'm going to be living under their roof, then I should be sure to perform at least the bare minimum that is required of me as a student. Not out of obligation, but as a matter of honor.
Is he a plant?
I wonder if such an attitude makes me servile or stubborn. It's also possible I'm simply thick-headed. Sensei once told me to become the person that you think is right. If I'm to continue to live by those words, then I must be sure to treasure each and every ordinary day that passes. I squinted at the sunlight streaming through the window. Only 20 more minutes until the end of 4th period. Classes let out after 5th period today. I think about how as soon as school ends and night falls, I'm once again roaming the city, side by side with Arcoad. The face reflected in the glass breaks into a smile, as though looking forward to something. I straightened my expression. It's not like I enjoy prowling around the city with Arcoad all night, so why the
My
hell
God,
am I smiling about?
You fucking tsundere. Just admit that you like her. God, Shiki.
Jeez. I knew I was having a hard time concentrating on the lesson, but I didn't think I was this far gone. I must be pretty out of it if I'm starting to hallucinate visions of that woman elegantly swanning across the school grounds.
You like her.
Wait, that's not hallucination! Wait, that's no hallucination! That's no moon!
Shiki. Hi.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, that's not hallucination, isn't it?
Can you imagine? It's like the carnival episode where she's like, I did it through all the proper channels. I'm now on school ground. Hi.
Being careful not to disrupt the class, or rather, being careful not to let any of the other students notice what's going on, I edge a little closer to the window.
He presses his entire face up against it.
Please tell me that there's just something wrong with my eyes. I mean, there is something wrong with my eyes, but something else. Yeah, that's no illusion. Much as I'd love to pretend that she's some figment of my imagination, the woman in the courtyard is anything but.
She meant 10 a.m.
Oh, God. Does that vampire have nothing but cotton between her ears?
Yes.
What should I do? What's she going to do? If I leave her to her own devices, who knows what horrors will befall my peaceful student life? No, calm down. Everything is okay. We don't have a problem just yet. It's so tense.
He's like really freaking out over this.
The other students haven't noticed her, and I don't hear any commotion from the neighboring classrooms either. Fortunately, she seems to be situated such that she's only visible from this classroom at the moment. I swear to God, that woman is a destroyer through and through. At my wit's end, I curse her from the bottom of my heart. However, doing that doesn't solve anything. There's 20 minutes left until lunch. If I leave that airhead vampire alone, there's no telling what kind of mess she'll create.
Okay, save. We need to save. What do we do? I feel like she's gonna cause a distraction, so I feel like we should probably, like, attempt to intercept her. Because I feel like, sure, we can focus on the lesson, that's great, but if we fake anemia, we'll be fine.
Suppose that's fair.
Because, like, sure, we can focus on the lesson, we can ignore her, that kind of thing, but it's arco-wide. She's going to be like, Shaky! Shaky! Like,
Yeah, fair enough. They say a soldier values swiftness. The seeds of disaster are something that should be plucked away before they have a chance to take root. I'd better lure that lady in white away from the school before she has a chance to cause any mischief. Sensei, I feel anemic, so I'm heading to the infirmary. Even as I raise my hand to be excused, I've already left my seat and started making a beeline for the hallway. I don't have time to wait for permission. Taking advantage of the brief window where everyone is too startled to react, I hastily make my escape from the classroom.
Look who it is.
Akiha, you idiot.
Hi. You sure came running. Feeling lively today, are we?
Mm. My mouth hangs wide open. The target I came to intercept strolled clear across the campus and has already made her way to the inner courtyard. Thank goodness. The fact that there aren't any classrooms facing the courtyard is honestly a godsend.
But I have to say, this school is rather small and simple looking. The impression I got from the outside was that it would be a lot sturdier and more substantial. I thought it would just extend on and on, like one of those giant anthills. But this is just an ordinary building, isn't it? Yeah, I like the puppyish aspect of it well enough, but...
You come with me. Naturally, I have no time for leisurely greetings. Without stopping to explain myself, I grab Arcuite by the hand and start running.
You don't have to be so rough.
I take us around the back of the gymnasium, which is usually deserted. At this hour, having her exit through the main gate would draw too much attention. The best move here is to ask her to leave out the back.
Hey, what are you trying to do dragging me all the way over here? There's nothing interesting back here at all.
Arcuite seems a little peeved, but it's not like school buildings are particularly interesting to begin with. What are you trying to do? That's my line! What are you, some sort of walking bomb?
Me? A walking bomb?
Exactly, and that's putting it mildly. Listen here, why are you wandering around during the day? And why come to my school of all places? You're weaker during the day, right? Your wounds haven't healed yet either, have they? Given all that, shouldn't you be resting until nighttime like a good little vampire?
Well, you're right, but... Since you're going out of your way to help me and all, I thought I'd use the day to try and find some clues. I didn't want to waste your time again like yesterday.
I'm telling you that there's no need to go that far. I said I'd team up with you, so just hold on until tonight. We can settle whatever needs to be done together. Okay? Do you just enjoy making me worry?
Well, it is cute, but... Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, as long as you understand that it's Wait, Arcoid?
Like I said, I'm sorry for making you worry.
I feel my heart pounding. Much longer. I feel my heart pounding. Much louder than is normal. For Arcoid to meekly apologize like that? Maybe I just never saw it coming. Or maybe it feels like a letdown. Or maybe I simply can't say anything when she makes that face at me.
But you're in the wrong here too, you know. I was watching you from below for ages, and yet you never even noticed I was there. I wasn't sure what the best way to get inside was, so I started to think I'd better just running up to where you were.
Wait, hold up. You mean to say that you were going to run all the way to my classroom on the 3rd floor?
Yeah, it looked like there were enough bumps and hollows that I wouldn't have a hard time getting a foothold. So jumping my way up back there would have been a cinch.
I take back what I said. She's as bird-brained as ever. Thank goodness. If you had done that, then the class would have been the least of my worries. I let out a sigh of relief. I doubt there were many students who noticed her wandering around the campus earlier. Anyway, it's fine so long as you understand. So, out with it. What brings you all the way to my school? You said you were searching for clues?
I was simply investigating. Leave no stone unturned, you know? I can't sense the presence of any dead, so I've got to just search for clues on foot.
Well, I appreciate the effort. If you'd done it at night, I wouldn't have said anything.
I'll be more careful from now on. So, anyway, I was just walking around this area when I noticed your scent. And that's when I suddenly remembered that this was the school that you went to, and then...
You decided to enter the school grounds. I thought you were like a cat, but maybe you're more like a dog.
How rude! I only came here because I discovered something interesting. Unlike everywhere else, this place has absolutely zero trace of the dead about it at all. It would be remiss of me not to come and see exactly what was going on, wouldn't it?
Huh? No, wouldn't it be fine? If there's no trace of the dead here, then surely this place is totally irrelevant. In fact, there haven't been any incidents or accidents happening at the school, and this place totally clears out at night. If the dead wanted to attack humans, they would go to the city, not here.
Well, I guess you do have a point.
There's nothing strange around here. I may not be able to sense the presence of vampires, but I still have eyes that can see death. If there were dead walking about, I'll notice that something's off even with my glasses on.
Fine, I get it. I'll take your word for it. There's probably nothing out of place here.
It's not probably. There's definitely nothing wrong here. The look on Arcoed's face makes it clear she's still not convinced. Ah, crap. It's already lunch. While the back of the gym isn't exactly a popular destination, there will still be one or two students passing by on their lunch break. Anyway, you're going to cause a commotion if you stick around any longer. I swear I won't break our promise, so just go home and get some rest already. We might run into some more enemies tonight. You never know.
Sounds an awful lot like you're trying to get rid of me. Is my presence here really that much of a nuisance for you?
It's not like you're a nuisance. My life is just full of headaches right now. If you're really that curious, then I'll tell you all about it at a better time. But for now, please just leave already. I give Arcoed a nudge on the back, shooing her away. Without saying a word, but with a look in her eyes that speaks volumes, Arcoed takes her leave. Phew. With the tension broken, I can finally breathe easy again. Now that it's lunchtime, I'd better grab myself some nourishment in preparation for the rest of the afternoon. I could swear I just heard a faint noise come from the shadows, that far side of the bike parking. Acting as though I'm simply taking a casual stroll, I sidle over to that area that had been hidden from the view of the bikes. Sure enough, there was nobody lurking around by that dead end. It must have been a stray cat or something.
Or CL. But this is where we're gonna pause because it's almost 4 in the morning for me, and I probably should go to bed.
Fair.
So, wonderful as always.
Yes.
Say goodbye.
Laters. Later, gamers.
We're gonna go buzz off now. If my fucking mouse can work, goddamn.